State-owned freight logistics company Transnet says it's making progress in clearing the costly backlog at its Durban and Richards Bay ports. So far, 11 vessels are reportedly awaiting to be offloaded at the Durban coast. Transnet saying more gantry cranes will also be brought into the service to assist with the process. Joining me now is the managing executive at Transnet Port Terminals for Durban, Earle Peters, is here to talk to us. Earle, good morning to you and thank you for your time. So I'm going to talk about the two ports, Durban and Richards Bay. Let's begin in Durban. At some point, we were told, in fact, we were reporting 70,000 containers that were stuck at sea. That came down to 35,000. Where are matters now?
Actually, I'm happy to report that that figure is not 35,000. Our recovery plan has really made some good traction. We're down to 24,000 import containers on hand. And it's definitely coming down steadily. We're really making good progress.
Yeah. And what has helped with this process, 24,000, it's not as quick, perhaps, as South Africans would want to hear. And in particular, I think it's got to do with the businesses that are directly linked to the job that you do. But what has helped in this process thus far?
Let me start off by one recognizing our employees. Our employees has really stepped up, and they've, the commitment has really been remarkable to clear what we have at Anchorage. What we've also done is, and what has really assisted us to deploy maximum resources, we've recently switched on a 12-hour, 2x12-hour shift operation. So that gives us 24-hour coverage, but there's less interruptions into operations. And we're really starting to see the benefit of that. We effectively started on the 1st of December.
Yeah. Maximum resources, and in the main, Earle, I'm hearing more of human resources or human capital being given extra hours to try and clear this backlog. Financially, is this going to set you back?
No, on the contrary, remember, we have a labor bill, so it is not that it's going to set us back. In the way that the current shift pattern is structured, it is very much the same of how it is that we've just reorganized the deployment of our resources.
Yeah.
So there's not additional cost. On the contrary, we'll see more rest periods for our employees in the sense that they've got 12 hours, but there's sufficient adequate time to rest and come back refreshed again to work then. So it's 4 days on, 4 days off. That's essentially, in line with most of the industries out there in terms of the forced shift type of pattern in terms of a scheme.
Yeah. Let's go to the Richards Bay port then and talk about the trucks there that have been making those snaking queues. How's the situation looking there?
So I'm the managing executive for Durban, but what I can say is that the team has really been working hard. We have been actively managing, with various stakeholders, the queue that's coming in. We've had some challenges that we had to contend with, but we are prioritizing trucks that are coming into port as we speak.
Yeah.
To keep them off the end.
And then, of course, there are businesses that are waiting for their Christmas stock, if you like, to get to them, hopefully before the date of 25 December. What commitments can you give to those businesses that are desperate for their goods?
The commitment that Transnet can give, and what we've really done well with the various shipping lines that work very closely with us, we've identified all urgent commodities, all urgent goods, services that's required, particular raw materials, manufacturing goods that's destined for shelves during the festive season. Those vessels has been brought in, and we're still prioritizing the ones that needs to make those urgent cut-off dates and get them onto the shelves.
Yeah. When we talk,
so good.
I'm sorry to cut in. When you talk about urgent goods, what are we talking? Is it perishable goods? In other words, food that potentially could go off if it stays any longer at the port? What exactly?
Actually, it's not so much perishable products. It's actually manufacturing products in the sense, if you can actually understand that it's around bottle caps, bottles itself, as containers coming into the country. And this is for beverages. And as we know, we're in the festive season now. What we're also seeing is that some pellets that is used in plastic manufacturing, also for the same process as well. So those are the type of cargo that we are bringing, prioritizing. The other one that has really been important as well is that we've worked very closely with automotive manufacturers is to get all the components and spares off those vessels to get them to assembly plants.
Yeah. Earle, you are at the coal face of the Transnet operations in the port of Durban. The president, when he was down there a few days ago, one of the words he used is that incompetence will obviously need to be addressed. And I think there was a mention of corrective measures. Any disciplinary action that has been taken for allowing for this situation to basically just get out of hand?
So at the various structures that is still underway, you know, there's a lot of review that we're taking stock of. We are evaluating, you know, particularly around the situation, how it came about, and what is it that we need to do better to avoid a repeat of this situation that we find ourselves in. And we will adequately address areas that requires improvement and where it is that we do foresee that there's areas that need attention, and deal with areas that where people have not done what they're supposed to have done.
Yeah, and if you were to mention perhaps one or two of those areas where people essentially did not do what they are employed to do, what would you say that was?
I would rather say is that where the oversight sat is that we really had to focus, and this is not a culmination of today. It really comes over a period of 10 years. You know, when underinvestment has taken place, so it's really caught up with us now. And that's really the areas that we are zooming into, and in making sure that those type of structures is being reviewed, making sure that the risk mitigation measures that we have in place in terms of our risk-based strategies that we have in place, is to adequately address those areas to ensure that there's sustainable operations and that we don't have the type of service interruptions that we've now seen.
Earle Peters, let me thank you very much for your time, a managing executive at the Transnet Ports Terminal in Durban. Thank you very much for your time.